Video take 4. Okay. Quick vlog, but more of a review of something. But I might as well kill two birds with one stone because I don't feel like uploading multiple videos. That takes forever. So first thing, I want to start a new channel in the summer. I'm not going to get rid of this one. This one's just going to remain vlogs and crap. But I want to start a new channel in the summer that's higher quality. My drummer Chris has a good camera, and I'm going to talk to him, see if I can talk him into this. We can do guitar covers and maybe better gear reviews because he's got studio equipment and actually a good camera. And it will help us both out. Because I'm inspired. I'm very inspired by people I watch. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and these people have their Patreons, and they actually make good videos. I'm inspired. The newest person I'm inspired by is Minerva. I'm giving you a shout out. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but she does vocal covers. Great singer. High quality videos, excellent quality. She puts a lot of work into her art, and I watch her videos, and I'm like, okay, I'm inspired. I mean, I'm always inspired, but for some reason, she's hitting me a little harder than some. And I want to do that, except, guitar covers. I'm not a vocalist by any stretch of the imagination, but guitar covers, and I might be able to ask some singers I know to do collabs with me, etc. And maybe better gear reviews that are high quality, mic'd, and, decently lit, filmed. So yeah, that's my goal, is to get a new channel and eventually get a Patreon following once I actually get some content that is worth a crap. And that will happen hopefully by summer. So enough with that. That's all I have to say about that. No more, no less. I've conveyed my point. And now I'm going to talk about what I really want to talk about is a review between Lord of the Rings audiobook and Left Behind dramatization audio book, or whatever it was I listened to. Okay, you might be thinking, well, how are they alike? Theme wise, they are very much alike. Execution, not at all. But the theme, okay, both stories have the same centralized theme: good versus evil, end of the age, ushering peace, stay true to your faith. The god of Lord of the Rings is Eru Ilúvatar, even though they don't really mention him a whole lot. He is mentioned vaguely twice in the actual Lord of the Rings series. He intervenes in ways you just got to pay attention to the story. Like when Gandalf was resurrected from the dead, that's because Eru, or God, brought him back to life. Okay? And also, I believe that it was Eru who gave Frodo that calling. He gave him a holy calling to destroy the ring. In a lot of ways, Frodo's like a Christ figure. Not exactly perfect like Christ, because Christ is perfect. But the point is, he was still a big instrument of Ilúvatar's work to destroy the workings of the enemy. He was the final person to really go on, on this mission or whatever, to destroy evil. And that was his calling. And Ilúvatar used him as the ring bearer. Okay? They won't say that directly, but if you listen to it, you'll figure this out. And, of course, in Left Behind, the church is raptured and new believers are left, and they're all scared, because they're like, wow, we should have saw what was coming. And now they become Christians, and now they have to basically hold on to their faith, preach the gospel, get people saved until the new age begins. Because really, there's not a literal end of the world in both of these stories. At the end of Left Behind, it's the glorious appearing where Christ returns and the new age begins. And the same thing at the end of Lord of the Rings, he destroys the ring and the new age begins. Okay, so it's the same concept, essentially. It's the same story that's been told for years. It's the hero's journey, good versus evil. Triumphant till the end, wait for the new age, etc., etc. Well, I don't like how Left Behind just lacks a lot of poetic imagery. It's a little too in your face, a little too direct. It's like, where's the poetic description? Instead of saying, oh, the prophecy's coming and the water turns to blood, well, describe how it turns to blood. Describe what it looks like. Describe how it makes you feel. Lord of the Rings, when something happened, there was always a heavy description of how it happened. You know, like Tolkien painted so many beautiful pictures in your mind, and that's what and that's the thing. That's what I literally loved about the Lord of the Rings audiobook, because the guy who did it, he was reading the book directly as it was, and it was 64 hours. I mean, this was the whole freaking book, and he did the characters well. He captured the mood and the atmosphere. He put the right music in there. He actually added sound effects. I mean, granted, you don't need all those things if you just read it, but I'm an audio learner, so that works for me. And I got sad when it was over. So, like I said, I went to Left Behind because I liked the ideas, and it was just very, very, very. I don't know. It just wasn't very appealing to me. Uh, because it went too fast, just way too quick, too much action. You don't get to know the characters very well at all. Buck and Chloe are in love, and that's cool. Make expound upon that. Like go into poetic imagery. Talk about how beautiful she is. Talk about like describe her, in a way that makes you, really fall for her too. Like if she like Buck's in love with Chloe, that's cool. Let's talk about how he's in love with Chloe. Describe how beautiful her hair is. Talk about how her skin is like that of the as white as snow, and her hair is as bright as the sun. Do something like that. Like you would hear in a Tolkien story. And like how there's the family unit between Ray and Chloe, and they miss the Raimi and what's her name, Irene or whatever. Really go into deep detail about like a longing or a nostalgic. Talk about just the oneness of family. I don't know how to explain it, but like you get that in Lord of the Rings. It's very, very, it's a very nostalgic story. They talk about ancient tales of old all the time. They talk about how they long for this, they long for that, or they heard about this, or they heard about that, and they go into great detail of how they felt and what the experiences were like. And you don't get that in this. It's just boom, 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 and it's like, I can't get on I can't get on board with that kind of approach. Maybe they're just trying to get the story out, but like go into detail of like say something like Rayford longed for Irene, for he missed the sound of her voice, for she had the voice of an angel, and she had hair is that was dark like whatever it is, fill in the gaps, or talk about how Rayford longed for his wife's cooking, for she cooked the best bread, something like that, or it's like she was an amazing cook, and he missed, talk about like missing family dinner and what the food smelled like, and because you get a lot of that in Lord of the Rings, but it's just I don't like the approach. Now, granted, they're two different genres. One is high fantasy, the other one is more thriller. But still, I don't know. I like poetic imagery, and this really lacks in poetic imagery. It really, really, really lacks. And it doesn't feel very organic. I love the ideas. Christ is coming back. We're in the end times. All these crazy things are happening. Hold on to your faith, even when it seems impossible. But I didn't like the execution. And and Lord of the Rings just does such a better job of the execution. Like it's a similar type story, good versus evil, and Carpathia and Sauron and Saruman are all kind of like Antichrist figures, because Melkor is technically the devil or whatever. In Lord of the Rings, he's technically Satan or Morgoth or whatever you want to call him. But he's not referenced a whole heck of a lot in the Fellowship or in the trilogy. He's mentioned more in the Silmarils, but regardless, he's still technically the main evil behind everything. And the way the villain was presented was terrible. It's like Carpathia, all he did was talk smack. It's like, dude, you sound like the kid at school that everybody wants to beat up because you just talk so much smack, and and he's not the kid that can back it up. He's just, he was so annoying, and he was so poorly written. Like, if you're gonna have an Antichrist figure, make him eloquent, and don't make him talking all this smack. Make him really believe in his cause. It's like Carpathia kind of knew he was full of crap. Make him kind of like Kylo Ren, or kind of like Vader, or kind of like Saruman. Make them cool villains where, like, they kind of believe in their cause and they slowly fall to the darkness because they're brainwashed. Instead, Carpathia is like, I know I'm evil, blah, 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 you know. No, dude, you're annoying. That guy was like, no. So I'm writing my own book that kind of follows a similar theme. It's very much like Lord of the Rings. It's got dwarves, elves, men. I'll probably have trolls in some of the later chapters, maybe even gnomes. I really want it to feel high fantasy. It takes place in an ancient land that's not in modern times, and it has that strong sense of nostalgia. It's very much inspired by the works of Tolkien. That's what I'm going for anyways. But where it's different is the God figure's a lot more noticeable. I mean, it's not in your face, but there's a definite, we know who's good, we know who's bad. We have Corfei, who's basically the god of the entire planet. And we have the Elf King, who some believe in, some do not believe in. And they're eagerly awaiting the return of the Elf King until the end of the age. And the book takes place during the last 7 years. There's a king over in the Elven City who really believes he's doing the good thing, but he's a victim of folly. He's a victim of circumstance. Like, his father was killed and his brother was killed, and all of a sudden he's the king, but he's always felt like an outsider, okay? He's always felt like an outsider, like nobody really gets him, nobody understands him, he doesn't feel like anybody likes him because he's just kind of socially weird. And there's this elder that really starts feeding into his ego. This elder is like, I believe in you. You're going to be a great king. Your father would be proud of the things you're doing. And this elder is actually pretty evil, actually. But he starts slowly brainwashing this elf who becomes the king of the entire planet. And this elf, gradually falls from grace. He was actually a decent guy, not perfect, but he was reasonably okay. He was trying his best, He felt like he could never please his father, but he was chaotic neutral is the best way to describe him. He wasn't terribly evil. He was just like, I'm doing what I can, man. Lay off of me. That's basically kind of how he is. And then he starts becoming really evil. Slowly, he starts falling into the darkness. The elder is, in league with the Dark One. And then this king is also slowly becoming in league with the Dark One. And he starts really believing in his calling. He's like, okay, I am doing the right thing. And anybody who opposes me, they have to be evil because they're standing in the way of peace. So it really gets to his head. So that's the approach I'm taking with him. And that's the approach I would have liked to have seen and left behind. Because even in Tolkien's story, Sauron thought he was doing the right thing before he got corrupted. Like, Morgoth messed him up. And Saruman thought he was doing the right thing. He really did at first, but, of course, Sauron poisoned his mind. So that's my 2 cents on all of this. Also, when my book comes out, one of the ideas is me and my band manager. We were talking about making a audio dramatization of my story. Because it would be interesting. We need to find some actors to do it, and some narrators. But that's another thing that's on the horizon. Once my book's done, I am actually going to have the audio recorded, all 22 chapters, and so that's kind of what's in store. So yeah, this is my pointless vlog of the day. Anyways, peace out, and remember to eat plenty of cheese.